Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we've got the infotainment breakdown on the 2023 Chevy Tahoe. In here we're dealing with a 10.6-inch center screen, a 12-inch screen in front of us, and 12.6-inch screens in the rear, so a lot of technology, a lot of features, and a lot to go through. Before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at it. This is a fun version of the Tahoe because this is the most powerful. This is the RST with the available performance upgrades. So we've got an intake, we've got exhaust, we've got cop wheels and brakes. This thing is actually surprisingly good to drive around town too, and I suspect having the 20-inch wheels and tires is better than the 22s that you'd get on the RST without the performance package. So if you want to see some more, check the links in the description. We've got a full review, fuel economy test, infotainment, that's what we're doing now, sound tests, members only tests, check them all out below. So in this video, we're going to take a look at all three screens, show you how to pair up a phone, show you how CarPlay is going to look, Android Auto. Let's get right into it. Starting in front of us with this big digital readout. It's kind of cool because you can configure it in multiple different ways. Right now, I believe we're looking at the modern view. So let me go through the different themes here first. I control everything from the right side of the wheel. We're going to go up, over to the right. Display layout. You've got classic. That's going to look like this. It's going to give you a little bit more of a traditional kind of gauge look. We were on progressive, then you've got digital. Cleans things up a little bit. No more of those kind of fake analog displays. Everything's a digital readout. And some people are just going to want clean. That's going to take away pretty much everything else outside of just your speed and information directly in front and your fuel and range below. Let's go back to progressive and take a look at what you can see on some of the screens. You can customize what's on your right, left, and lower elements. Starting in the bottom, I've got all the information you can have. We've got coolant temp, fuel, and range right below us, battery voltage, and then on the bottom right, we've got oil. I believe that's oil pressure. That doesn't look like a temperature. It looks like oil pressure to me. Someone can let me know in the comments what unit that's measured in, being 0 to 120. Would that be bar? Probably, or I guess it could be PSI. You can also adjust what's on the right side. So currently we've got a tachometer there going up to about 5,700 RPM redline and our drive mode and all-wheel drive mode. You can also put in, have that be a compass, time and temperature, which is what we've got on the left right now, tire pressures, fuel economy average, transmission fluid temperature, or just nothing. And then I believe we can get all that same information, over on the left side. So you can really customize it to what you're going to want over there. Info page options. You can also choose which information you see on those. So I'm going to select them all so we can go through those right here in the center. What units you want to display. So if you're going up to Canada or somewhere where they've got kilometers per hour, you can put that in there. Speed warning, if you want the vehicle to warn you when you go over a certain speed. Maybe you've got a teenager driving and you don't want them going over the speed limit or something like that. Speed sign display, you can actually have it show you what the speed limit is. That's pretty nice. And then a default option there at the bottom. Scrolling all the way back over to the left, these are your different information pages that you can have right here in the center. So we've got digital speed, and if we scroll down from there, digital speed goes up to the top. You've got a drive summary since you last started the vehicle, mileage, miles per gallon, and time. Trip 1, reset that by simply holding down, which is interesting. In the new Colorado we drove, you actually had to reset the trip from the center screen. I think that's silly, much more intuitive to have it right here. Trip 2, a timer, tire pressure, fuel economy, driver assistance. So if you have adaptive cruise control set, it's going to show you all your different settings there. Oil life percentage, brake pad life, air filter life, off-road, so that's going to give you your pitch and yaw angles and your all-wheel drive settings. Engine hours, how long the engines run for, transmission fluid temperature, and an optional blank page right there, as well as some options. Taking it over to the right, you've got what's playing for your media. Right, again, has got your navigation settings. If I had a route set in the navigation, it would give me my directions there. Your phone information, you can click to view your recent calls, call people from there. And then your settings all the way over to the right. Pretty intuitive, a lot of information it can give you there, but it's nice that you can sort of step things back and have it be a little less overload if you so choose. Coming into the center screen, this is an Android automotive-based system. A lot of the new Chevy products are running this, and it works really, really well. The screen isn't quite as large as we see in some of the other full-size vehicles, but it's pretty darn nice to use. It's one of my favorites, really. Up on the top, you've got information such as your time, temperature, cell phone information, your signal there, and your charge level. And right here, an actual user screen. So this is nice because you can set different users and profiles so that, say, if you shared this vehicle with somebody in your household, then you'd be able to set different profiles and link them up to keys. And you can save your radio presets, your climate presets, all those sort of things. Your information, your screen setup can be linked to different drivers. It's nice to have. On the left side, this is going to be a side menu that always stays put regardless of what's here in the center. Top left, you've got Google Assistant. If you tap that, that's going to bring up a very standard Google Assistant situation. Same if you had a Google Home at phone or Same if you had a Google Home at home or a Google Phone. It's going to be very familiar there. You can even use it for things like let's just dive right into voice commands now. You can click it with that, or you can get it from pressing this button on the steering wheel, or simply using the wake word. Hey Google, what's the temperature?
The temperature in Lake Forest right now is 79 degrees.
Very responsive. You can get even more customizable, like, tell me a joke.
What do you call a cold canine? A chili dog.
Funny. Or something like, how do you say, where's the bathroom in Japanese? This one's taking a little while.
In Japanese, you would say, トイレはどこですか?
Okay. I apologize, I didn't have my center camera running for that first start of that. So we're back up here now. A lot you can do with Voice Assistant, and obviously you can control things in the car as well. Like you should be able to do something like, set the temperature to 72 degrees.
Okay, changing the temperature to 72 degrees.
And right here, the driver and passenger temps went up to 72. I like it to be able to do navigation, so you can do something like, navigate to the nearest Starbucks.
Sure, Starbucks.
And I really appreciate how fast the system is. It's really intuitive, and it really just gets everything going. Minimal inputs needed. It's very nice. While we're in the maps here, you can see this is a full-fledged Google Maps system. We got the little Google icon in the lower right, and traffic information, and everything that you would have like Google Maps on your phone, tablet, computer, you're going to have right here as well. And if I were signed in with my Google account, then it would have things like my home addresses and recent searches from my computer or anything like that built right in. It's really nice to have such an intuitive system built right in, and it looks good. And you might even be able to do satellite. I got to look into that, because some cars, I'm pretty sure the Hondas you can do satellite in. Maybe that's not something supported here in the Chevrolets. Below the Google Assistant on the top left, you have a trailer menu right here set. So if you were towing something, you could hook up the trailer and actually start this light test, and it would go through and test all the lights. I've used that before with a Silverado, and it's really nice to have. Below that, you have your phone screen. We're connected via Bluetooth with my device right now. It's going to give you your recent calls, an available keypad, contacts, etc. Below that's your navigation, and below there you have your media screen. If you want to see a little bit more of a breakdown on this, check the link below for our sound test, but that's how you're going to access things like your Sirius XM radio. Got a lot of different inputs in this car. You can set your favorites down here below, play, pause, a lot of different accessibility there. And then in the bottom left, that's how you get to this main home screen. You can customize what's on this screen, kind of move some things around, but if you slide over to the side, then you see a bit of a traditional app style layout. Again, audio, we've seen that, maps, we've seen that, phone, cameras, we haven't seen that yet. You can either launch it there, or there's a button over here on the left side, hard button, I like being able to have that. And this Tahoe has the 360 cam built in, HD vision. It works really, really well. You can see the parking lot lines around me that I'm straddling very obnoxiously. Move between the front and rear cameras there on the right side. Zoom in to the front and back if you're pulling up to a curb. That's nice to have. Same with these side cameras. If you're pulling up to hook up a trailer, you can view right down on there, line things up. It's definitely a nice camera system, and I like having it for such a large vehicle like this. I would definitely pony up for that. Right here is going to be another way to access your Google Assistant. They really want to make sure you're able to do that. Here's how you're going to access the Google Play Store if you're logged in, be able to install more apps, radio, things like that, things to listen to and use. And here's how you launch your Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. We'll get to that here in a minute. Past that, you've got your trailer lights. We saw that. Here is a dedicated screen for climate, even though it's got physical controls for just about everything down there. Some people like to be able to see things on the screen, so you can customize where your air is flowing, what the temperature is, and really be able to get through your front and rears as well, so you can control the third zone, rear zone climate back there. Here's your settings screen. This is how you're going to get in and manage different settings for the vehicle, manage your connections for different Wi-Fi. You can turn on and off your Wi-Fi hotspot right there. Connect phones, we'll show you that here in a minute, how to pair up a device. Below that, you have settings for the vehicle, teen driver, so if you do have a young driver or just someone that you want to control, you can set that up, put a pin in, and then control how fast the driver's able to drive, what their radio settings can be, etc. Rear seat reminder, this is good to have if you have children or pets. If you open the door, put something in there, get in, drive, when you shut the vehicle off, it's going to remind you that you may have something back there. Buckle to drive, this is going to require the seatbelt to be buckled here in the driver's seat in order to take off. Climate and air quality, you can adjust your auto fan speed if you don't like hearing a lot of fan going when it's on the auto setting. You can also have it set for auto defrost and heated seats depending on the temperature when you start the vehicle if you want those to turn on automatically. If you had ventilated seats, it would do that there as well. Collision and detection systems. This is going to be your settings for your automatic emergency braking. If you get to a situation where something's coming up on you really fast there from the front, it's going to alert and brake the car. But for some reason, if you were a maniac and you wanted to have that off, then you could optionally do that there. Front pedestrian braking, same thing. If it sees a pedestrian in front of you, it's going to slam on the brakes by default. If that's malfunctioning or something, you could turn that off right there. Below that, adaptive cruise notifier. If you're using adaptive cruise in stop and go traffic, once the vehicle ahead of you pulls away, it's going to remind you that, hey, it's time to go. Let's go ahead. Lane change alert. If you try to make a lane change and there's a vehicle in your blind spot, this will alert you there. Park assist tow bar. What is this? When on, park assist will account for a tow ball. Okay. So if you've got a tow hitch ball mounted on the back there, or maybe a bike hitch or something, when this is on, then it's going to actually alert you sooner for your parking assist back there. That's nice to have. Rear cross traffic alert, so if there's a car coming out, if you're backing out of a spot and a car coming by, it's going to alert you. That's really nice to have. And same with rear pedestrian alert. If there's a pedestrian back there, it's going to alert you. Lots of good safety features there, especially with such a large vehicle. In comfort and convenience, you can adjust how loud the chime is. So for your seatbelts or your key being left in the car, you can adjust how loud that goes. Hands-free exterior storage access, so to be able to walk up and kick underneath the lift gate and have it open, you can have that enabled there. Reverse tilt mirror, so when you put the vehicle in reverse, if you want the outside mirrors to tilt down and look at the curb, that's an option right there. Remote mirror folding, so if you when you lock the car, if you want the mirrors to fold in, you have that on right there. I'm actually going to enable that one. Rain sensing wipers, when it rains, the wipers will turn on. And auto wipe in reverse gear, so when you put the car in reverse, if you want the wiper to turn on for the back window to clean that off automatically. In lighting, you can adjust how long you want the lights to stay on after you exit the vehicle. What else do we have? Power door locks. If you want the doors to auto unlock all the doors when you come up and press or touch the handle, or just the driver. Remote lock, unlock, and start lock customization there if you want the horn to beep or not beep when you press the lock button, and when you unlock it with the key if you want all the doors to lock or unlock. Passive door lock if you want it to lock automatically as you walk away. Some people really like that feature. And some alerts for if you've left the remote in the vehicle. Seating position. If you want the automatic seat and steering wheel to remember your seating position and then actually push back and make it easier to get in and out of, you're going to have that enabled right there. You've got more settings in here for apps and permissions, so a lot of kind of just detailed settings you're not really going to have to access for your apps installed on the system. Date and time, this is going to be how you customize your clock. You can also access it by touching the clock up there. You can choose to have a 24-hour format if you'd like. Automatic time zone and date and time is going to be the easiest way to keep your clock current, but if for some reason you like to have your clock forward a few minutes or something, then you can disable that and set it right there. Going down, you have the settings for display. This got two different modes, a day and a night mode. You can see day and night. They look exactly the same. I'm not really sure where our difference is right there, but I guess leaving it in auto is going to be your best move, and you can turn the display off right there, and it gives you just a big display for your temperature and your clock date. You hold that to get it turned back on. Double tap. All right. Below that, sounds. This is going to set your maximum volume at startup. I really like a feature like this because if you were coming in late night, jamming out to music, and you come out in the morning to go to work, you don't want to get your ears blasted off by whatever you were listening to at that loud volume the night before. It's going to start you at a more reasonable volume right there. And then if you don't like that little tap sound that happens every time you click the screen, you can disable that right there with audible touch feedback. Users, as I said, you can set and add different users for your different settings saved in the car. Your different accounts, if you sell a vehicle like this, you're going to want to go in here and make sure all of your accounts are removed, things like Spotify, Google, etc. But you can also add accounts right there. Settings for your privacy, all the sort of information about what GM and Android and all of Google and them are doing with all of your data. You can see that there. Storage, this is going to tell you how much storage in the system you're using up. I don't really think you can save. It looks like somehow you can save music on there. Let's see. If I go to my USB, does it give me an option to transfer stuff over? I'm not sure. Maybe someone knows how to transfer files over there. Below storage, you have some settings for security here. If you want to be able to lock things up and make it so you've got to put in information there, you can do that. Even more settings here. System, you can change the language between English, French, and Spanish. Some settings there for your keyboard and who you want to use as the keyboard. You can probably install different ones there depending on how you set up the system. Reset options, so you can kind of erase all of your information. Again, if you're selling the car, very important to do that. Quick startup. What does that do? When on, your infotainment system will quickly resume its last session. When off, when the system needs a full restart, startup will take longer. Okay, that's good to know. And some about information there. You can get info for what version you're running here on the system. And below all of that, you can do system updates here. If you're connected to Wi-Fi, then you can plug in and see if there's any updates. You should do that periodically. Back to the home screen, we're seeing a rear media option. Accept that. This is going to allow you to access what's going on your screens. And this is really nice if you're a parent, you got kids going back there, maybe they're not old enough to touch and control the screen themselves. You can actually turn the screen on from here and select the source. You've got two different HDMI ports or Hulu and YouTube built in. You can actually go in here and force your kids to watch Daily Motor, which is a good use of their time. Doesn't look like you can actually choose what's playing on YouTube though, so we'll head back and take a look at that screen here in a moment. And some settings in there for voiceovers and screen power status, a few different things you can customize. Going back home, you've got Amazon Alexa support, so if you sign in with your Amazon Alexa account, then you can use Alexa voice commands as well. My Chevrolet, if you're logged in with the My Chevrolet app, this is going to allow you to access a lot of vehicle settings from your phone at home. That stuff, or really wherever, that's useful. This vehicle has Google Podcasts built in, and as well as Google News. Those are applications that you can add to using the Play Store over here. So there it is, the center screen here on the Chevy Tahoe. It works really well, it's easy to use, but let's go head into the back and take a look at those back screens before we check out Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Here it is, 12.6-inch screens. You can see we've got YouTube up right here, so we must actually have a Wi-Fi connection. This looks like a full-fledged kind of desktop version of YouTube, so let's go DM sound. There we are, slacking a little bit. 11 days ago since the Corolla sound test. And there we have it. Aside from this Gatorade ad playing for 5 seconds, giving me a little bit of revenue right there, we have Oh, another ad. Man, I got YouTube Premium, so I never see these. There we go. We've got Daily Motor playing during the Daily Motor review. I love getting some Inception going. Seems to work pretty well, too. A little bit of lag here going full screen, but we've got straight up YouTube playing right now in the back of the Chevy Tahoe. And sound would probably be going through these Bluetooth headphones if I turned them on. Doesn't look like they're currently paired up to the system, but I could throw these headphones on and actually enjoy the audio right there, or probably put it through the center screen as well. Okay, next let me show you how to pair up a phone with the Chevy Tahoe. So I've got a generic Android phone right here. We're gonna go down and get our Bluetooth settings up. Can't help you with how to do it on your individual phone, but if you get your Bluetooth settings up, then we're gonna go up here to the phone icon and over here to a very weird looking settings screen. Connected phone, and this little plus icon is going to allow us to switch phones. Bluetooth pairing. Now, if I look on my device and scroll all the way down, maybe do another scan here. There we go. Under available devices, I've got my Chevrolet. I'm going to click that. And on both devices, I'm greeted with a pairing request with a code. Hit pair on both screens. It's going to ask me some permissions. I'm going to authorize everything that it asks me. Right here as well, I'm going to allow and enable for Android Auto support. And there it is, very quick and easy. I've got Android Auto coming up. Here's how Android Auto looks on the screen. Still got your persistent menu on the left, and then up on the top, all of that information as well, unlike the older Chevy systems where you lost access to your thermometer when you had Apple CarPlay or Android Auto up. Home screen with your navigation bar on the bottom, bringing up your apps. That's how they're all gonna look. It's an okay resolution, good responsiveness. Take a look at Google Maps. Good display there. Still not quite as nice as the actual built-in to the Android Automotive system of the truck, but works well. Here's Amazon Music. There's YouTube Music, which we usually do. What do we got in the Super Mix today? What's our Android feeling? Headband. Oh, never mind. Tides of Time by Epica. That's a good one. That's we've had that in our members only sound test at some point, I feel like. It's one of my faves right now. So that's how your Android Auto is going to look, but let's get Apple CarPlay hooked up. And there we have it. Apple CarPlay looking nice. Nicer resolution on this one. Here's how all your apps look. A little bit of stutter on the screen, but not too bad. There's Google Maps. Interestingly, you can't pinch to zoom with Google Maps on Apple. I wonder if you can do it with Apple Maps. No, you can't. So that just seems to be a usability downside there. Here's your dialer. That's how that's going to look. And let's take it over to YouTube Music one last time. What's our Super Mix going to give us from the iPhone? Be Real. Kid Ink and featuring Dej Loaf. Some Detroit right there. Alright, so there you have it. The infotainment here on the 2023 Chevy Tahoe. It works well. I enjoy using it. I think it fits the car nicely. And if you have any other questions, hit me up in the comments. I'll try to answer them. But we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.